Hello, welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Duxbury, Oz Pals behind the camera. We got Gareth at the back, and we have our good friend Luke from Korg, the official.
The official, yeah.
Now I know it's a thing.
Yeah.
You've ditched
You
the
probably
surname.
invented it.
Yeah, you've ditched the surname.
The one word, Korg.
Yeah. And what were you talking about today, Luke? Thanks for coming in, mate.
We are talking about this, which is the Kronos. So we brought it back, and we're very happy about it.
It does look new.
Yeah.
I love the livery. Oz likes it as well. What do you say it looks like?
I said the grill looks like an assault rifle.
And that's what we want from our workstation keyboards. Because we're going to go to war armed with a lot of flexibility, right?
Nice.
I love it.
Sign me
Like
up,
it.
marketing team. Where are we in the timeline of this coming out from release? Like when does it hit the stores here?
So it's only just hit the stores in July this
Right.
year. It was announced back at NAMM in January. Yeah, and it's obviously the Kronos 3, the third iteration of the Kronos. So we had the original Kronos, then we had the Kronos X, then into 2, and now the 3. So obviously we had a little gap in between.
Yeah, there was a bit where I thought it went away and then it's come back. What has changed, if anything, on the return of it?
So the return of it, it gave us the opportunity just to hone really all of the things which people have been asking for many years. The boot up time has been substantially increased. Or decreased, I should say.
Oz is a young man, he doesn't know, but that's a big deal.
Yeah.
If you're a Kronos guy, that's a big deal.
So there's that. We've added new SSDs, there's a new motherboard, so all the stuff inside which makes it work really well, been improved. And then we've added a whole bunch of new sounds, and I think you'll hear the quality of the sounds have definitely been stepped up with a new voicing. So, as well as added to that all the amazing things which made Kronos great in the first place. There's a lot of industry firsts at the time, including this set list, SST, smooth sound transitions, which meant you didn't have any break between the sounds when you change, which live players absolutely love. And the 9-engine concept, where we've got effectively 9 different synths inside.
When I reflect, I can remember when it came out, I was like sat in my pants at home watching the NAMM stuff.
Yeah.
And I can imagine people go, oh yeah, well but what do you add to it when it's got that much?
Yeah, and as you'll see today, people forget just how much is in there already. So the main thing is really to talk about, first of all, is the 9-engine concept. We've talked about it before, but it's just good to remind ourselves. So when you're in this program mode, which you use single sounds where you do your editing, you get this nice visual representation of whatever sound you're on. So if it's a piano like this, then you can just go in and change the sound visually. So what it does is it gives you parameters, rather than other synths which just give you a whole raft of parameters for every sound, it gives you parameters which are relevant to that sound, which is really nice. So you can mellow out the sound. And then of course, it gives you access to all of these sampled pianos as well. So it's kind of like working with plugins really, because you've got massive sample libraries you're dealing with now, but in hardware. So we've got this new Italian grand, which is in the Kronos 3, but before we had Japanese pianos, we had Berlin pianos. So all samples of famous acoustic pianos.
And for people that matter or care about sample size,
Yes.
that's when we were like on the streets trying to kind of battle it out with our workstations. The Kronos won every time, because I'd be like playing a Nord and they'd be like, yeah, but you've only got like a megabyte sound. But that is a really, if you're someone, I can understand that attributing value to that, let alone that they sound amazing.
I think
but you really still win.
I think it's different now. Back in the day, before the Kronos, say, it wasn't always a valid argument, because you could have these amazing sounded synths which had like 4 megabytes of ROM, and you're like, how the hell is it doing that? It just sounds amazing. But since this, and since obviously the growth of plugins and everything, it really is important for those sample-based sounds, things like pianos, because it is very difficult to replicate that sound by compressing and looping and everything. You just can't get that authenticity, and all the sample layers as well.
So if you don't know what we're talking about out there, we're talking about the data that's the size of that collection of samples.
Yeah.
And then that speaks to, do you want to talk a bit about how that speaks to the quality of them?
Yeah.
Like the length and things like that.
Yeah, so
layers.
Obviously when you sample a piano, and I was in LA actually doing a new sampling session recently.
Is it fun?
It's amazing, yeah. But it's quite a laborious process because you basically just play every single key at lots and lots of different velocities. And like the low ones, you're there for like, I don't know, 20 seconds just for one sample layer. So you can imagine how much memory that needs to do that justice. There's no two ways about it. You just need a lot of sample memory to do it right. So
sorry, I'm a bit excited that you got to see that process. And is it a robot or is it a person?
It's a robot. Well, actually, it's a combination. So depending on what we're doing and sort of effect you want to create, you can do the pedals manually, but you can have a robot to do that as well. So yeah, but it's a very cool process.
Yeah, and so all those aspects combine, and that's why I think I can remember people being like, yeah, but you can't mess with the size of the Kronos pianos.
Yeah, that's right.
And they still hold up. And I love, one other thing is that I love the mixture on the screen of, we forget how tactile it is.
That's right, yeah.
But then also, because it's so big, you've got, if you're a numbers guy, you can see more information than any other keyboard out there.
And then obviously when you go to different sounds, you get different graphic. So if it's a Rhodes, we've also added a new Tyne Fender Rhodes sort of sound, EP1 early. So it's a new sample. And then you go into this screen where you can see like the front panel. So then you can start dialing in some of this effect. And you get all your stomp boxes, which you can see on the screen. So yeah, it's super tactile, and like I said before, the parameters are relevant to what you want to do. You don't have to go, menu diving to tweak the stuff you want to do. So that's what I love about it. And that's relevant whether you're on that or say an organ sound. So if you're on an organ sound, you've got your drawbars ready to go. Again, they're just there, so you can also map them to these.
Right.
So you can do it. You can do it either way.
What else can we just break it down? Because I've always dreamed of it. We've never actually sat at the Kronos, I think, with you. Like the other bits that are on the screen.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of information
there is, yeah.
That sometimes that would overwhelm me a bit, if I'm honest. But now I'm a bit older, I'm like, oh God, that's cool.
What you're looking at, well, if I just step it back to, say, our original sound, our piano, see there's a gap there. Mm-hmm. So you've actually got two different engines you can combine in this mode. So it's a lot more powerful than people actually realise, because there, for instance, you've got your piano. But as you can see, as I step through, sometimes you'll see a second one. Mm-hmm. So that's a completely different engine layered with your piano. So here we've got a piano layer. So you've got that piano which I was playing earlier, plus a Mod 7, which is a FM synthesis piano. So what you were seeing there with the organ was you were seeing the organ sound, which is this one, layered with that kind of little synthy sound underneath, just to give it a little bit extra depth.
So, so we got these three modes, the big mode buttons here.
Yes.
But I never thought, I always hit prog to get single, but it's actually by timbral.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Yeah. It always used to be just single, like back to the Triton days and everything. But you had the oscillators within that thing, so you could build up different sounds, but you didn't have two completely discrete sounds which you could layer like that.
Detail on there. Like you see the envelopes, the LFOs, the speaker.
Speaker cab, great.
And again, it's that thing. Like you see like an X. Sometimes you see an X.
Yeah.
And then like they stayed really hot, and you regret it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking back to now, and I'm like. And there was a time when I could choose between, it was like Korg or Nord, and I went Nord hard, and I wear that allegiance now. But actually, now I'm realising, oh my God, she was slamming.
To me, they're different things though. They're different things. They are completely different things.
Slamming, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Korg got into CrossFit.
They got into CrossFit. Right?
Yeah. And same thing here, so if we go, this is again a single one, but this is just again an FM. I just love the authenticity of it, because you can actually load in, vintage DX patches into this and have all of those DX7 amazing sounds in this environment with the editing you've got with the patch bay. So you've got your 6 operators. And like you're saying about this interface, it's great because you can just touch what you want to change and then you're straight in, and then you can just...
Wow. And all of those, I remember over the years, you added so much in terms of expanding the capabilities.
Yes.
I think we did some videos on it, right?
We did, yeah, on the Nautilus actually, yeah, which, and
wavetable capabilities.
Yeah, and we'll look, yeah, you've got, still in here, you've got all your wave sequencing from the wave station. So if you take a sound like this, so we've got the full architecture to pretty much recreate the wave station, the Triton, the even the O1W, which I found out recently. So it has all the wave shaping in there from the O1W, which is just crazy. That's in that Mod 7 engine again, which we were looking at a minute ago. So yeah, and we've also included with the Kronos 3 a load of vintage Triton sounds as well.
Oh,
so stuff like this, which I love. Just love it, and it's got all those classic stuff like Express Lead and all those, you know, staple sounds from back in the day, which I know you love.
I love, and it really has come back around, especially in 2025. I think that kind of naughty sound, is really coming back.
It's weird because you get a sound like that.
Like now I'm thinking like Kid Laroi.
Yeah,
whereas 10 years ago you would think
that's really dated.
Yeah,
you? But now the sound of that filtering a digital kind of synth sound has a sound to it. But yeah, I really like that kind of vibe.
And all the success of the More Than Ever now. You have all the smaller keyboards that you broke off, like you said, the Mod Wave
and the Wave State, and
OP,
the
Op6.
Yeah.
And then I think we've got a few customers that I know have collected all of those, and you're at that point now where you're kind of like, you could have just bought them. But maybe they didn't feel that at that time. But now, if you're looking and you've got a few things and you think, am I going to complete the collection that really it is all in here?
It is all in here, and all the legacy stuff.
And what sizes are you going to do in the Kronos? So this is the 88?
So this is the 73.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, which is weighted keys, which I can see why you thought it was the 88, because it's got weighted keys. So that's something that makes the 73 very cool, because we've got a piano action, but in a 73
You're
note.
so kind, I had one job. A keyboard demo review, I'm like,
There is an 88
this
version.
Is a Gibson Stratocaster.
There is an 88 version of it as well, but there's also 61 as well. So with synth action, which feels really beautiful as well to play. So they've all got aftertouch as well. So yeah, they're just a joy to play. We haven't really needed to tweak with that format.
Let's get into the nitty gritty, what people want to see out there.
Yeah, so
boot times.
Boot times, okay. Yeah.
What? Sorry, but I've done loads of videos on it, and I think it spread where people loved it.
Yeah.
The Kronos, but as other competitors came out, there was this thing of like how long it took to turn on.
Yeah, sure.
So what you said, you changed the hardware.
Yeah, we sped it up substantially. So just to give you an idea, I think the original Kronos was around 2 minutes to boot. I think the Nautilus was even longer than that.
Yeah, it broke my heart.
Yeah. So what we've done with this is we've got it down to, I think it's 39 seconds.
There we go.
So, which is much more acceptable.
It's not the length of a song.
Yeah, that's right.
Because if I was in that fight of the other guys against the Nord, I'd always turn off their keyboard and then be like, turn it on and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because especially in pop music, like 2.5 minutes is a whole song.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
That's cool. That's really good to know.
So it is a substantial upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you feel it when you're zipping around it? It seems a bit
it's very
more zippy.
Yeah, they said that the screen has been improved.
But there, you're just grabbing the lid, and sometimes there's a demo back in the day. You'd be like, I'm just not going to touch it.
Yeah, let's just hope it works.
It's fine, but yeah.
And actually, I think in the very early Kronos, it didn't have drag gestures.
No way.
So you had to select it and then use the wheel. But now, obviously, times we've done, and we've addressed all that. So yeah, so just going back to your sort of classic things in there, you've obviously got your M1. You've got your piano, you've got your organ. So you've got all those staple sound that everyone wants, and things that people forget is also in there is Karma. So we've got basically a fully blown Korg Karma built into this as well.
Oz, do you know about Karma?
No idea what you're talking about.
You don't know about it now.
Okay, so Karma was a red keyboard that Korg brought out sort of early 2000s. Quite revolutionary really, because it changed the way that people approached playing arpeggiated sounds, because it had very, very advanced arpeggiators in it. Basically, that's what Karma is. Rather than just playing a note or a couple of notes or a chord and it will just arpeggiate around those, which you can do, it will also automate lots and lots of other parameters as well of your choice. So that could be filters, it could be reverbs, it could be any of the stuff that's going on underneath the sound to give it more motion and let it breathe more. So I'll give you an example. So if you take a sound like this is actually using the MS-20 engine, complete with patch bay, which is brilliant. Turn on the Karma, and then it will play a pattern for you. So let's just hear the sound without first of all. It's great sound, very dynamic. But as soon as you bring Karma into play, you can hear it moving, can't you? Yeah, it's pretty filthy. What Karma also does is it gives you real-time control over that pattern, and that's where this control surface comes into play. So this is a multifunctional control surface depending on what you're doing. You can edit the sound with it, but you can also change Karma with it as well. So all of these faders relate to these things on the screen. So for instance, duration control is fade number 3. You see that moving there? So if I get it going, so you can control things in real time as well. And there's loads of preset patterns in categories. So that's called a techno riff. Or you could just go into arpeggio and it'll play a regular arpeggio. So you can just use it like a regular arpeggiator, should you wish. It's super deep. I mean, there's just so much to it.
It's so musical.
Yeah.
I think when we look back, they were like titans involved in the development of these instruments.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I long for, because we did a video before where I brought in that Oasis. That's one of the big reasons why I got the Oasis.
Amazing.
For the Karma engine.
Yeah.
Because I've got this theory that at the time it was just like, before the internet, it was just like Greg Filling Gaines, Picaro. Yeah. And they were hanging out. Was his name like Stephen Kay or something?
Stephen Kay was the guy who worked for Korg at the time, who developed this. He's literally a genius. He developed this this architecture, if you like, that we still use today.
Novel, idiosyncratic, very musical way of bringing in movement into the sound.
Yeah.
And I think at the time it went all over our heads because you couldn't really learn about it.
No.
You just hit the button, wow, and you couldn't like find videos on it.
Yeah. But he made it very musical as well, because he used it for instruments like harps and string runs and things like that, where it just sounded like the real instrument. We'd never really had that before. That was a big part of Karma as well. It was like sort of harnessing those amazing samples we had, but whenever a keyboard player plays them, it doesn't sound anything like the instrument, however good a player you are, because of the way, the interface basically. So with some of these Karma patterns, you can get some glorious sort of nice moving pattern, like guitar strums and harps.
Yeah, all those odd ethnic instruments as well.
Yeah, with the funny tunings as well, like quarter tones and stuff coming in and out, and
genius.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And it's good to know it's very unique. If you get hip to it, it's still like to go to a shop. It's the only product I know out there that still has that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I think it's almost even more valuable now because everyone's using the same plugins. That's my theory anyway.
Yeah, it's a really good way to get a unique sound, because there's like literally millions of sort of combinations of different parameters.
And it smashes. I mean, I can say it smashes Roland I arpeggio. Absolutely. I think they were in there just trying to kind of reverse engineer Stephen K. And like he was like, nah, mate, I
gave up quite quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lest we forget I arpeggio.
So let's move on and show you this. So this is another one of the engines. So this is the Poly 6. So another vintage synth from Korg. And as you can see, we've actually got 2 instances of it here. So this is the different use of the 2 instances, using the same synth twice. But as you'll hear, it's using one to arpeggiate the sound and one to just use as a pad. You hear all that movement that's happening as well. Now, believe it or not, that's actually using the arpeggiator that's built into that particular engine. So we're not even using Karma. You can see it's not even turned on there. So each of these engines has its own arpeggiator, so you can just turn that on and off on the screen as you want.
Is that from the original keyboard?
Yes, yeah. So that's why they put it on there, because it's part of the original keyboard.
Not know that.
It's a bit like the EP we were looking at before, where you've got the effects. Now these effects are extra to all the other effects in the Kronos. They're just dedicated just for that. So it's really nice because it kind of separates it, and it's more in that mindset, oh yeah, I'm just plugging in a little stomp box into my instrument.
So we're in program mode, you've got 2 there. What's the other thing I remember, people who were really, before backing tracks, it came out as well, we were still using ADATs, so sometimes you'd have to cover the kitchen sink. What's the max amount of layers we can get, or timbres?
In the max is, when you're in combi, is 16, and if you bear in mind, they can be 2 each, so in theory that could be 32. So if you really want to push it to its limits.
Yeah, so if you're out there, I can hear the internet, you know, like being like, well, what's new? But why?
Why would you need that many?
Especially when and I can, reference it. I like I say, I wear allegiances personally to like buying other keyboards, but you've got to respect that number. That's insane, especially if you've got to cover a lot of ground. That's amazing.
It comes into its own. Probably less for live performance, unless you're building up massive orchestral combis and stuff like that, which it does incredibly well, as you'll hear later. It's more when you want to use it more creatively, like you want to use Karma and you want to use the drum track, as well as all the stuff you're playing. And because in this mode, you've got 4 instances of Karma. So you can have 4 completely different patterns playing, all sent to however many sounds you want. It just becomes super complex very quickly. And you often, you'll find that all 16 parts are being used.
And the modular heads, now we've gone through the modular synth revolution.
Yeah.
And you'd argue so much of it, I understand, ends in like this idea of generative music.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all in there already.
It's all in there already, absolutely, yeah, it's been done.
If you've not seen Luke play, we've got to get some playing, mate. And what are some of your favourite sounds?
I've just picked out a few of the new sounds, actually. I'll stick in program mode for a minute, and then we'll go into combi mode, and I'll show you some of my favourite combis as well.
Okay,
so what we've got in the Kronos, and we actually had before, we had quite a lot of artist signature patches, which are programmed up to sound exactly like the song. So we've got stuff like this. I just love that.
The drums are slamming.
Cannon shot snare, thumping kick.
Yeah, it just works, doesn't it? Yeah. So you've got stuff like that. You've got one of the other engines we haven't mentioned is the STR1, which is a string physical modelling engine. Now this one came from the wave drum, which we actually had last time Taylor was playing with the Oasis. But that kind of technology basically models components, and then we can model things like stringed instruments. And then by using the vector joystick.
That's not a sample.
That's not a sample. It's
a model.
It's a model, yeah.
Wow.
So we can take it into sitar territory there.
It feels so nice to play. If you've not played it, that's where I feel it. It's when you're playing them.
It's
like
just
the response,
so organic.
Right? Yeah.
Loads of new guitar sounds.
Hang on, what's the sounds of
Planet. Okay, so what we did with the Kronos 3 was we invited a load of the guys who made some of the amazing sound packs for Kronos over the years to make some presets, of which we've got Sounds of the Planet, we've got Car Pro, we've got Caro, Irish Axe. There's just quite a few different really renowned sound designers, and there's over 300 libraries available for Kronos from our site to download. So we took sort of the cream of those, so of which this is. And what's nice about this is that on the sustain pedal, you've got the fret noise on the sustain pedal rather than being built into the sound, which makes it just much more playable and realistic. I really like this guitar sound as well. And again, it's all in the dynamics, just like a real, with pitch bend as well.
Great playing.
Yeah, obviously you need to adapt your technique a little bit to get the best out of those sort of sounds, because they're just so sensitive to hit all those little layers.
I love the fidelity of it.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I was craving it. That's why when I came across that Oasis, but then this is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, this takes the technology of the Oasis, but then it brings in so many more modern, realistic samples as well, like that.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It is another level of high fidelity to what we're normally listening to, I think.
And then when we talk about the two different instances of the sounds, one of the famous uses for this on the original, I think it was the Oasis, but it's definitely the original Kronos, was this drum kit. So you can kind of have your two different mic positions ready to go. So you can have your sound, but then you can...
Luke, that was sick!
So then you can use your different sounds, so you can hear just the dry.
Luke, you're a tighter drummer on a keyboard than most drummers I've ever met. What else?
I've known you for over a decade now, mate. I didn't know you had that in you.
Really?
Slam it.
What?
Let's listen to the overheads now, so you can hear much more room.
They're great samples.
So then you can just then blend. It's just great fun to play as well.
Amazing. So we've got those two sounds that were on the fader.
Yeah.
And
which you can blend like this. Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
I've picked out another couple of great sounds. Now this one is unbelievable. So this is one of the library sounds from Car Pro, and this is strings. And well, I think I'll just play it to you, so you can see what we think. Why does that sound so good, do you think? It's because it's just been very cleverly programmed. You've got 2 layers of it, as you can see here, and it's just the way it's been sampled as well. It's just very, very, a bit like what we were talking about earlier, very organic sampling session with microphones very close to the instruments. So you're just capturing that real essence of what a string instrument is.
Have we got any effects on there?
There's just reverb. So
sounds gorgeous, doesn't it?
I'll take off the reverb. So you've got some natural room anyway when the recording, but then when you add in this,
it was just, yeah, it sounds incredible. And beautiful playing. But the expression without an expression pedal, that's hard to emote.
I think that's what's happening. I think they've programmed into the sound some movement into the sound, like level-wise. So you can hear that it sort of surges through.
It's breathing, isn't it?
And the reverb's stunning as well, which helps. So
another tangent, just I'm hanging out with my mate. I've got this theory that back then, as well, not back then, but these sounds where they originated, it was the golden era of movies as well.
Yeah.
And it was pre-VST.
Yeah.
So when I hear these sounds, and again, why I'm interested in the Korg sounds more than ever, is that it's just reminiscent of all those big blockbusters.
Yes.
I think, and then people are like thinking, well, film music is Spitfire audio. It's like,
no.
No.
Yeah. John Williams was around before Spitfire.
And those guys, and I think a lot of
they've tried to emulate.
I'm a big rom-com guy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big Hugh Grant guy, and I think of all and I'm thinking, were they really using for the bed music? And I think they were using the Oasis then. I always use the Herbie Hancock Imagine record as a great example of that, because there's videos of just him and Greg Fillinganes with the 2 Korgs, and that sound of the string is still sings today in that way.
Yeah, and that type of sound can really work well when you blend it with real sample strings as well. Getting those together.
That was the technique, right?
Yeah, that's where the magic can really happen, I think. Yeah.
You were revolutionary, like you said at the top of the video, of organising sounds.
Yes.
And what this view is here, and the setlist view. Because if you're out there gigging, it's super powerful.
This is amazing, yeah. So you've got, essentially on this screen, you've got a grid of 16 slots, which can then be anything. They can be single sounds programs, they can be combos, they can even be sequences. And you can colour code them now as well. You can put little text at the top. And that could be the name of the song, it could be lyrics, it could be chord changes, anything you want, which is really useful. And then you can tab along and see more. And then you've got 128 slots within a set list, and you've got 128 set lists, which you can always just bring down and then have different set lists for different gigs, which is really useful as well. You do have an EQ as well, which you can, so if you're in a venue and you think, I need an EQ for this venue, you can just put it on the whole set list.
Everything's a bit pokey.
Yeah, I can just put it on the set list or whatever.
Yeah, it's very professional.
Yeah, you can even change the level of each slot, the actual volume of each slot as well, just to equalise your volumes, which is obviously very important as well. It's just all those things which are just super useful playing live.
We're going to have this out in the showroom now in Andertons. We were just chatting off camera. We were saying you really want to come try something out like this, and Andertons more than ever, especially in the current climate, it's probably one of the only places you come try these out, and against its competitors, come in, try it out for yourself. We've got an amazing keyboard room that we worked on for years, and now they're all out, plugged in, ready to play. And I'd love for you, mate. I'm going to bugger off because I'm just going to keep on chatting to you, and I'll let you play this thing. Thanks, Oz, for filming, and thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again soon on Andertons Television.